This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. Today I have a townhouse for you guys with a pottery studio and a cafe, and I am so excited to share this because this build is my first build with the new expansion pack that we got last week, The Sims 4 Business and Hobbies, and I can already tell you right now I'm in love with this expansion pack. It's probably one of my favorites. Like, this is my top favorite packs that we've ever gotten. I love this pack so much, and I'm going to be speaking about it. I'm going to be speaking about all the new objects and all the new stuff and my opinions and stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah, this is my first build with it. We got it last week, I believe, but I have been really busy, so I wasn't able to get this out until this week. But I really hope you guys like this. So the entire thing with this new pack is obviously that you can now own and run your own small businesses from either your own like house or from a business venue or a small business venue that you buy. So for this build, I decided to try to make the most of it. So you will see that the kind of yellow part of the house that is, I believe, currently when you're seeing it's kind of red/orange. It takes me a while to figure out the yellow, but that part ends up being kind of like the townhouse. I do believe it's classified as a townhouse. Anytime I think of a townhouse, I just think of like New York townhouses, but from what I looked up, this does classify as townhouse. So yeah, but that counts as being the home part, if that makes sense. And then the middle part that has the brick ends up being the pottery studio, and it has a basement where you have like the kind of opportunity to like teach pottery and stuff like that. And then the green part ends up being the cafe. And I am in love with this lot. I'm in love with this pack. I have so much to talk about. I absolutely adore it, so I really hope you guys like it as well. So I have been really excited about this pack since it was announced because first off, you can now again have your own like business on your own lot, which is something I've been wanting for a very long time. I know most of the Sims community have been wanting it for a very long time. I have built builds before where they have been more of the like residential rentals, so you can have several families living there, but you can't actually have a business running there. But I've kind of made it so it looks like there's a business there, if that makes sense. I did one in StrangerVille. I've done I think a couple in Tomarang. I have done off camera a couple of other ones that you will see at some point in other worlds as well, and I love doing them. But now you can actually have a house and like a business on the same lot. Sadly though, you can't have like apartments, like several apartments and a business at the same lot, which is very unfortunate. I hope that they figure that out at some point because I feel like that would make the more sense, but I don't know. But just so you know, that is not a feature in this. So if you do have The Sims 4 for rent, that pack and this pack, they don't really work together in that sense, at least. But either way, I'm really, really happy with it. And so again, for this, I decided to have two businesses. So the way that it works, each sim can own their own business, but they can only own one. So I was thinking that for this, the house portion, like the townhouse, ends up having 2 bedrooms. I was thinking that there's 2 parents and a kid, and I was thinking that each of the parents owns their own business. But from what I know, at least, you can't have the 2 businesses open at the same time, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think it works. Either you can have like a night one and a day one, or you can have like half. So like maybe one is open in the like morning and one is open in the afternoon, or you can have every other day, or whatever you want. But yeah, it works kind of like that, and you can buy a small, like you can register a small business through your phone or through a computer, I think, or through the new like, I don't even know what to call it. I think it's called like a ticket stand or something like that. I put it in the pottery studio, but you can kind of manage it through that as well. And then you can open and close it, and you manage it from, where you can see like the Sims, like what's it called, needs and stuff like that. Like in that menu in the bottom, what would it be? Bottom right? Yeah. You can kind of manage it through that as well. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and you can customize your businesses so much. Like I had no idea how much. You can basically make any business that you want from now on, like literally any. And I have so many ideas, like so many, and I'm so excited for it. But the main like things that came with this pack, like the main kind of like businesses that came with it, I guess, like the new ones that you could have, are pottery, which I am so excited about. I'm going to be talking about it later, but I am so excited about the pottery. And then also you can like have and own a tattoo shop now, and we have the whole thing with like having custom tattoos, which I'm sure a bunch of you have seen already, but like you can have your own custom tattoos now, and you can go to a tattoo studio, stuff like that. And as someone who has quite a lot of tattoos and who loves tattoos, I am so excited for it. The next build you will see from me will be a tattoo studio. I can already spoil that for you, but I'm so excited for that because I love tattoos. And then you can also have like, now you can make like a candy making store kind of. But I think those are the businesses that kind of like came with this pack, if that makes sense. But again, you can make any business. So that cafe that I made in this works like an actual cafe. Like you can put it as a cafe. And when you start a new business, which I didn't know about this, but this is so helpful. When you start a new business, you could either select what you want, like the Sims coming to your business, like what they want to do, like individually. Like you can go through all the different things. Like there are so many things, there are hundreds of things you can do. And it could be like drink coffee, do pottery, read books, like, you know, there are like a bunch of different things. Or you can select a pre-made one. So you can select like, and there's a drop down menu, and then you can select like pottery studio, and all the things that you would normally do at a pottery studio, they're already selected for you, and then you can add a little bit more as well. And I love that because sometimes you forget about things. Like for the cafe, when I was playtesting this for the cafe, I just put the cafe one because I was like, I'm gonna forget something. But they already put like, again, like drink coffee, read book, I don't know what else they put, I don't remember, but yeah, it's so smart. I love how the Sims team did this, and it is so helpful. And then the second reason I was so excited about this pack, well, there are two more reasons. First off, the build items. I'm going to be talking about them throughout this entire build. I don't know if you're going to get any rambles from me today because I have so much to talk about, but yeah, there are like so many new build items that I love. And then also, this world, like this, the third thing that I'm so excited about, this world is inspired by Scandinavian countries, especially from what I've seen, Stockholm and also Copenhagen, which, if you didn't know, hi, I'm Mal, and I'm from Sweden. I'm a Scandinavian girly. I have lived in Sweden my entire life. I'm very, very Swedish, like I'm the stereotypical Swede. And I am in love with this because I felt so at home building this and like going through like around the world, because I feel like it's definitely a mix between Stockholm and Copenhagen. I've never been to Oslo, so I don't know if it's some influence from that as well, but from what I get, it's definitely a mix between Stockholm and Copenhagen. I think more so Stockholm with the architecture, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But as someone who grew up about an hour away from Stockholm and who's been there a lot, and as someone who currently lives not too far away from Copenhagen, because if you didn't know, Copenhagen is very close to Sweden. So even though I still live in Sweden, I am very close to Copenhagen. I've been there countless times. I felt very at home during this and seeing all the build items and doing everything, because I was like, oh my god, I can build things that I have seen, I have been at, like I just felt so at home, and I never knew that I wanted this so badly until I was building this, and I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. And again, the entire world, I feel very much at home. So if anything, if anyone is wondering if this world is like authentic, I would say yes. You can definitely tell again that there's a mix between a little bit like between Stockholm and Copenhagen. I don't know, I really love it. And this entire world is called Nordhaven, or Nordhaven, I think is how you pronounce it, which is not a Swedish word. I can already tell you that right now. I believe, if I'm not correct, you can correct me in the comments, but I believe it's Danish. And I've been a little bit, because I've seen videos, I've seen people talk about it, and people are like, oh, I think it's a Swedish word. No, it's not. I can tell you that right now. I don't know. I think most people are going to be calling this word Nordhaven though, which makes 100% sense. I probably will be referring to it as that as well because it's just easier for everyone. But this part of the world that I'm building in right now is called Gammelvik, which is Swedish, I think. I don't know, it might be pronounced and like spelt the same as Danish. I don't actually know. If anyone is Danish, like let me know in the comments. But yeah, this part is called Gammelvik, which from my understanding is very much like based off of Gamla Stan in Stockholm, which is it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's a neighborhood of Stockholm that is like very old-timey, and it has all the like old-timey builds still left, and it's very, very beautiful. And I love being there. It's so pretty. And so yeah, I feel like it's very, I don't know, I really like it. And then if I remember correctly, the other neighborhood in this world is called, I don't actually know. Let me look it up. Okay, I looked it up and it's called Ivestad, which I don't know if that's Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, or anything like that. Honestly, again, some of the names might be Norwegian as well. I don't know. I just know that this world is based off Scandinavian worlds, more specifically Stockholm, and from my understanding from like what I've seen, also Copenhagen. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that like as a Swede, I've been so happy with this because again, I just feel at home. But moving on and talking more about the build, we are almost done with the exterior already, which is insane. This build didn't actually take me that long, but that's only because it's built on a 50, or not 50, what? No, it's built on a 20 by 20. So it's not actually that big of a lot, but I am in love with how this turned out. I did go off of a picture from Pinterest, which I'll plop up here on the screen right now. Obviously, it looks very different in the game, but kind of the structure, if that makes sense, is the same. And I really like it. I feel like it fits in very well, and it's something that I've definitely been able to see. And like when I was building this, I was on call with my boyfriend, and I kept getting so like giddy about it, and he was like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but like let me just show you." So I like screen shared to him, and I was like, "Look, okay, this looks so Swedish. Like, look, I can do this and this and this and this. This part looks so Swedish." And he was like, "You are so weird. I love you." And I was like, "I love you too, but don't call me weird. This is healing me in some way." So yeah, it kind of healed my inner child, I guess, but yeah, I had so much fun with this. And there are so many new build items, again, that I talked about before. Like, oh my god, I love this pack so much. So I literally have a list on my other monitor of all the different things that I want to speak about and all the different like new build items and stuff like that. If you do have any questions, as always, just ask me in the comments, but I'm going to try to go through as much as possible. So I do want to say before I start doing that though, the order that you will see me kind of decorate the interior in will be the cafe portion first, and then the pottery studio, and then the last thing you will see is the townhouse. In the timestamps, I will have made that clear as well. So if you just want to see one part, you can skip forward if you want. But for the exterior, again, I used all different new like wallpapers and flooring and roof and all of that. We have a bunch of different new wallpapers. We have both ones that I used on the exterior and the interior. On the exterior, I used very, very basic ones. They're very like, they don't have any pattern to them. There's the yellow one and then the kind of green one for the cafe. I did toy for a while with the color scheme for this build because again, there's so many different swatches. I did want to do red because red is very Swedish. I don't know if you've seen anything before, but like red and white is kind of like this typical Swedish house. I think that's more like a cottage vibe, but still I wanted to do that, but then it just looked off, so I went with the yellow, and I matched them with the new roof decorations that we have, and oh my god, I am not normally the type of girl who is excited about roof decorations in this game, but they look so good, the ones that we got from this. So we have the ones that I use kind of at the end of the roof. So we have two different ones, the one that I use for the green portion and then the one that I use for the yellow portion. And yeah, I love them. They look so good. And I did struggle a little bit with like how to make the roof look good with it, but in the end, I think I figured it out. But they look so good. And then we also have new, I don't know what are they called? I always forget what they're called, but you will see that on the roofs they look like little bump outs of rooms, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So yeah, I really like those as well. They match with the new roof because we also have a new roof, and all of that made it feel very, I don't know, it kind of just brought it all together, and I'm really, really happy with it, which is really, really weird. And then also the other wallpapers that we have, I used we have a few different ones. I didn't use all of them in this build, but we have a new brick, which again I used for the pottery portion of the build. On the exterior, it's all that part is only like a 1-story part, so you don't really see that much, but I love it. And for the interior in the cafe, you will see that I use a new wallpaper which has some like kind of checkered pattern, but like diamond shaped checkered pattern, if that makes any sense whatsoever. This swatch is hidden behind some other swatches of this wallpaper, because this wallpaper have a few different swatches with a few different patterns, which, not gonna lie, I kind of hate when the Sims team does that, because if I don't see the wallpaper or like the swatches in the catalog as I'm scrolling, I will forget that they're there. But I just felt like this checkered wallpaper fits so well for the cafe portion. And then this is the same wallpapers as I will later use in the like house portion in the parents' bedroom. And it's this beautiful flower wallpaper, which I will talk about later because that flower pattern is probably my favorite thing ever. And I don't know how to explain it. We have it in 2 different kind of swatches, one with like a white background and then all the flowers, and then one with a black background and all the swatches. And I don't know how to explain this. I'm gonna sound really weird, but to me that is so Swedish. I don't know how to explain that other than that. I have literally been in houses with almost that exact wallpaper before, and I haven't seen it in any other house in the except for like Swedish ones, or like, okay, Scandinavian ones, I guess. So I know it's weird to have like a Scandinavian wallpaper, but to me it makes so much sense. So I'm really happy we have that. And again, I think the checkered one also looks so good. We have the checkered one in a few different swatches, which I think the other swatches I'll probably use in like kids' rooms and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like that wallpaper. And then we also have a few new floorings. For the exterior, I at first went with a new concrete for kind of like the, I don't know, the like street portion of the build, if that makes sense. But in the end I switched that to, I think, a base game one because it just didn't look how I wanted it to be. But on the kind of like balcony portion of the cafe, I use a pattern concrete that we got, which looks so pretty. I don't know how to explain it other than it has like this beautiful kind of a flower-ish pattern. I don't know how to explain it, but I really like it. And then we also have a new wooden flooring, which I love. I believe I use it in the cafe. I don't know if I use it in the other portions of the build, but I know that I use it in the cafe, and I really, really like it. And then, of course, we have so many new doors and windows. I tried to use as many as possible, and all the different portions of the build have different windows. So the kind of townhouse portion have these beautiful windows that has kind of like a rounded top, and again, I don't know how to explain it other than I have seen so many buildings in Stockholm with those windows on them. So I'm really happy with it, and I feel like it looks really, really good. They're really big though, and all the portions of this build are built on the medium wall height except for the basement of the pottery studio that has the short wall height, but everything else is on the medium wall height, honestly, mostly because I wanted to put the, I don't know how to, what to call it, but you know how you can put a rim around the top of a wall, if that makes sense. We have a new one of those, and I put that, and that only works for medium wall heights or tall wall heights, so I use that. And also those windows only work for the medium wall height, so I'm really happy with those windows. They look so pretty. And then for the pottery studio, obviously there's not a lot of space, but I use some new windows there as well. And then for the cafe portion, The windows I use for the cafe portion are probably my favorite because I love them. I don't know how to explain them. They're very boxy, but they have like the top portion has this like diamond portion of it and it looks so good. And we have them in a few different swatches. The entire cafe portion is very like dark wood toned. So I use that swatch of those windows for it and I think it looks so good together with the green. I just love them so much. And then I also use new doors everywhere, except for at the beginning of this build, like when I was basically when you were seeing me, place the doors and everything. For the townhouse, I do use a new door that kind of matches the windows I use for that portion. But in the end, I off camera switched that door out for another door because it didn't feel right to me to have that, like, because the door had a lot of windows on it and it didn't feel right to have that into, a home, if that makes sense. So I switched it out to a door from the Discover University pack, which I think it looks better, and that door also just fit very well, so I think it's fine. But yeah, I used a new door into the cafe and the what's it called, Pottery Studio as well. So I'm really, really happy with that. We also have some new awnings, which is really weird. We have one new awning, but the awning that we have these like fairy lights coming down off of them, which remind me of the awning that we got from the Cozy Bistro kit, and I love them. We all know I'm a sucker for fairy lights, and speaking of fairy lights, we have so many new fairy lights with this pack, and we even have a fence with fairy lights, which not gonna lie, I died a little bit when I saw it because I love those fairy lights so much. They look so good. But yeah, I love fairy lights, as we know, and we have a bunch of different new options of fairy lights. I use them mostly in the new what in the like house portion of this build. I use it mostly in there, but I love those new fairy lights. They look so good, and you can make so many different like cool shapes with them, so I love them. Also, another thing that is really, really weird that I love is that we have these new like wall decorations that are pipes that you can have like going up and down a build, like kind of looks like rain catcher pipes, whatever. And I love them. I put them on a few different places on this build and I am in love with them. I feel like they make the build in a weird way and I just love them. I know it's really a weird thing to love, but I love them. I don't know what else to say but that, but yeah, I think they look really good. Again, I know it's a really weird thing to love, but I think it looks really good. That's just me, maybe. And then we have a few different new like wall decorations. We have some that I put underneath the windows on the like residential portion of the build. I feel like I've said the word portion so many times in this build, it's starting to lose meaning. I am so sorry. But that new wall decoration, I don't know how to explain it, but it looks so good under windows. And then we have a few different ones. We also have a bunch of new different signs for the different like stores and businesses you can have now. And I love it because we have icons now for things that we didn't before. Like we have an icon for a laundromat. I don't know if I can explain how happy I am about that. It's a really weird thing to be excited about, but I love doing laundromats, so I'm gonna use that so much. And we have obviously one for like a pottery studio that I use. We have ones for like a cafe or a bakery. We have, again, a bunch of different ones, and I love those signs so much. I know it's a weird thing to love, but I love it. Another thing to be really weird that I love is the new bikes that we have. In the debug menu, or I think it's in the live edit menu of the debug items, we have this like bike rack that has some bikes already placed in them, but that bike itself is also an item that is functional in the game, and I love when we get new bikes because I use bikes in every single build that I do. Literally every single one. I don't know the last time I made a build without a bike in it. It's really weird, but I love bikes because to me it's just very, I don't know, it's very realistic, I guess, and also it makes so much sense for there to be bikes in this pack because again it's based on Scandinavia, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Copenhagen is the most like biked city in the world, I believe, and you can definitely tell when you're there, and they have so many different like bike lanes all over the city, and I just love it. So I think it's very realistic. And also another thing, speaking of like fairy lights, like I was before, we have a new tree that has fairy lights on them, and I love them. I used them. I used that tree twice in this build, and I love it so much. And also speaking of trees, for the exterior of this build, for the sides, if that makes sense, like kind of the back and also the sides, not the front of the build, but like the sides, I didn't really know what to do. So I put some trees and I put some like lights, like street lights, and I don't know why, but I think this is my favorite thing I've ever done in this type of build where like it's kind of like a complex, if that makes sense. I really like it. I think it looks really realistic. Let me know what you guys think, but I really love it. Also on the exterior, when I was doing it, you might have seen this kind of like sign that looked like it was a kind of like a black chalkboard, if that makes sense, but it was a sign, and you might have seen that it was blinking uncontrollably. And that's because that sign is a functional item where you can kind of check different meetups. And I didn't know that that's what it was until I was playtesting this build, and I was like, can I make this blinking go away? And I did. And yeah, it's just a sign where you can check different meetups. So I'm really happy that I did put that in this build, because it just looks like a sign, but it's actually functional. You can do things with it, which I love. But I think that's it for the exterior. I think maybe I know we're already done with the cafe, but I'm going to speak a little bit about that before I go into the pottery studio, which I'm currently doing. But in the cafe, I use a new kind of like cafe bar thing that we got from this pack. And it looks a little bit too, I was gonna say too modern for the build, but I think it matches in the end. But I was a little bit scared because the cafe ends up having more of like an old-timey feeling, which is kind of like I wanted that because the whole reason I decided to do a cafe instead of like doing a tattoo studio or, you know, something else, because I feel like cafe might be really basic. But if you've ever been in Sweden or you know anything about Swedish people, you know that we love fika, which fika is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's basically like taking a fika is like going to get coffee, and not just coffee, but you often take also like you also have like a pastry most of the time, but it's just a cultural phenomenon that we've had for as long as I know in Sweden, and I genuinely don't know the history about it. I just know that it's very Swedish. And a lot of different cultures have kind of adopted it, but no one does it like the Swedes does. I'm gonna be proud of this. I'm gonna be really proud of this because I love fika. But yeah, basically you just have like a coffee with. Usually you tell like your friends like, hey, do you want to go for fika? And it's just like, hey, do you want to go for a coffee and like have a pastry and just sit down and chill? And it's to the point to where works like if you're going to work, that like work will have like a designated fika break, like a break for that, because it's so important to us. Like, I'm not even kidding. So yeah, I just felt like the cafe was necessary for this build, especially because I was so happy with it being able to be like kind of Swedish. So yeah, don't worry about it. I just love fika, and every Swedish person does. But yeah, I just felt like it was very, you know, I think it was necessary. But yeah, anyways. Again, I used the new cafe bar thingy. I also put like a kind of like a dessert display thing, which you can fill up with different desserts and then sell them. It's also from this new pack, and I love it. I think also like it makes sense that I made a cafe because I was able to use a lot of things from this new pack. Also in the cafe is the only build you will see me use the new curtains, because the new curtains are a little bit more like old school and a little bit fancier than the rest of the pack. I don't really know what happened there, but I do really like them, but I just use them in the cafe portion. And then I also use new tables and new chairs in there, which I love. They're very simple, but I think they look really good. Also, I use a cafe, not a cafe, what? I use a new wall decoration that has this kind of like bike, and it comes in a bunch of different swatches, but I really like it. And I don't know why I'm so excited about this bike, and I've seen so many other people also be excited about this bike wall decorations, but I've been wanting to make specifically like an apartment for someone who loves bikes for a very long time, mostly because one of my teachers in, I don't even know what you would call it, middle school / high school, it depends on where you're from, but when I was younger, one of my teachers was an avid biker, and it was like his entire personality, and it was great. And ever since then, I've been wanting to make an apartment for a bike lover, so I'm gonna do that at some point. But yeah, that's basically it for the cafe. I decided to, for the second floor, have a piano up there and a little bit of sofa section because I just felt it was cozy, and I really, really like it. And then moving on to the pottery studio, which you're currently seeing me furnish the like kind of basement area. So like I said before, I was so excited when I found out that we were gonna have pottery in this game because I love pottery. I have done I think it was like a 10-week, was it an 8 or 10-week pottery class, and I love going to pottery studios. I love just appreciating the amount of things that people can do with it, and I love the art of it. I love art in general, but pottery especially, I love it. So the first portion, I must stop saying portion, I swear to God. But the first floor for the pottery studio slash store ends up being the store portion. There's the word again. But up there, I use so many different new shelves that we have. We have a few different like display cases and stuff like that as well. And probably my favorite thing that I did up there was we have this new kind of like stacked like display. I don't know how to explain it. But it's like 3 different round shapes that are put together on different heights to kind of display different things. And in the middle, I kind of put 3 of them, so I kind of created a circle. And I don't know why, but for me that was so realistic to have something in the middle where like you display a bunch of different things that you can like sell. And I almost always struggle with like in a store or whatever I do, I tend to put things up against the wall. So I kind of struggle with like the empty space in the middle, but I think that's a nice way to fill it out. And I just filled the entire upstairs with a bunch of different pottery items. They're mostly items from this pack that you can make, which you can find in the debug menu. You will see me later go back into the pottery studio once I'm doing I think it's when I'm done doing the kitchen in the residential part of this build. You will see me go back to the pottery studio because I realized that I missed some of the items you can make, so I kind of fill it out with more of the items you can actually make in game. But I do also put some other things from other packs, like other items that I feel like you could kind of make in pottery from other packs, like a bunch of different packs. I think some are from base game, some are from I think it was called like Refined Living Room kit that we got recently. Some are from I think, what was it called? For Rent expansion pack. Like they're from a bunch of different packs. But I just put things that I felt like worked as that. And then I also made a kind of like welcome desk. It kind of looks like that's where you would pay. Sadly, not how it actually works. You pay at I don't know how to explain it. I talked about before, like the iPad display thingy. I put it by the stairs in the pottery studio, but yeah, that's basically where you actually pay. But I like the idea of having more like a welcoming desk. And that side table I use for that is also from this new pack. And something else that I did in the pottery studio, which I love, is that I used the wallpaper that we got from what is it called? Lovestruck. I almost called it For Love expansion pack. It's not what it was called. It's called, wow, I can't speak. It was called the Lovestruck expansion pack. I used that wallpaper, and it has these like roses on it, and I used it in a swatch that is blue, pink, and yellow. And I discovered that some of the new items that we have from this new pack has the flower print that I was talking about before. I was talking about a wallpaper that I use in the cafe, and I also use in the parents' bedroom in the residential part of this build. That wallpaper kind of also exists on a bunch of different furniture pieces that we have. So we have him on an ottoman, we have him on a armchair, a love seat, I think something else as well. And again, I love the pattern. It looks so pretty. It reminds me of spring, which makes sense because we're in spring now, at least in the north hemisphere. Is that what you would call it? Yes. Unless you're from like Australia or something like that, you're not in spring, you're in autumn. But if you're from, where I'm from, it's spring. Anyways, I was off track, but I discovered that print on specifically the ottoman that I put in the pottery store section basically matches the wallpaper, and I made a tweet about it and everyone was freaking out because it looks so good together. And yeah, I love it so much, and I thought I would mention it because again, I think it's just like a cute thing that the Sims team did. I don't even know if it was on purpose or not, but those things match so well and I'm so happy about it. And then for the downstairs portion, like the basement portion of the pottery studio, that is again where the actual pottery wheels are and we can host a class. In the screenshots you will see that there are some like different things on like the glazes, you know, I don't know what it's called, the machine where you glaze and like have a kiln on it, like where you burn the actual pottery. I think it's called a kiln if I remember correctly in English. I think so. But anyways, you will see on that there's like some items, and on one of the pottery wheels there's like, looks like someone is in the middle of making something. That's because again, when I was playtesting this, you will see it. And then I also put the new kind of like lecture board thing that we have, and that again will be filled up with a bunch of different drawings when you're seeing the screenshots, because again from playtesting. But you can host a bunch of different classes. You have to be a certain level of certain skill to do it, so I cheated my sim to be level 10 of the pottery skill, because I think you have to be level 5 to host a class in it. But yeah, you can also host classes in a bunch of different things in this, which is really cool. I think you can do it in like the tattoo skill, maybe the programming skill, like a bunch of different skills. So yeah, that's kind of cool and I really love it. And then also in the kind of like the pottery studio portion of the pottery section, if that makes sense. I also put a bunch of different stuff from the artist kit that we got. I don't know what it was called, something artist kit, because they just fit, because when you're doing pottery, it's an art form, right? So you need like a bunch of paint, and you need glazes, but they kind of look like paint, and yeah, just a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I put a bunch of stuff from again that kit as well, and I think they just work very well together. And yeah, so moving on to the last portion of this build, which is the, what's it called? The residential part. Sorry, I am losing it. But for the like residential portion, I need to stop saying the word portion. The residential part of this build, I wanted it to be kind of like light and airy, because I feel like that's very Scandinavian, and this isn't Scandinavian in the modern sense, which when people do Scandinavian builds, it's most of the time gonna be modern, because that is what it's called. Like Scandinavian architecture, if you look it up, you're gonna see most of the time like modern builds, which in the Iverstad part of this world, in the other neighborhood, that is kind of the vibe. But in this part, again, it's Gamla stan, or it's not actually called that, it's called, what was it again? Gammelvik, which is again like Gamla stan, which basically translates to Old Town. So I wanted to go for a different type of Scandinavian like interior style and architecture. Again, it's more like, it is still very light and airy, but it is more, yeah, like older, I guess. And when I was decorating this, again, I could just see so many similarities for what I've seen before, like IRL, but then also seeing like Swedish influencers, kind of what they live in. So I really like it. You kind of walk into the living room, and then you go to the kitchen, and then on the second floor is where an office is and the children's bedroom, and then on the third floor there is the parents' bedroom, and they also have like a walk-in closet and bathroom upstairs and stuff like that. But yeah, I really love this build in general, but I love the residential portion because I kind of just felt at home and I felt like it looks so good. So in the living room, there wasn't a lot of stuff I used from this pack. The two main things is that I used some new bookshelves, and the new bookshelves kind of look like they're supposed to be part of like a bookstore because they have books on display. But I also know that that's a very popular thing to do in your own bookshelves, to have like books on display, so I felt like it was okay for me to use them in this build. And then we also have two new fireplaces, and oh my god, I was so happy to see them when I did, because I have been wanting fireplaces like these ones for forever, because the first one is, and the one that I don't use in this build, is a more like modern one. It looks like a box, but it is not as big as the other fireplaces we have, but it looks more like a box, and it looks really good. And I think in my next video you're gonna see it, I think. But the fireplace I use for this video is a round fireplace, and I've been wanting it for so long because we finally have a fireplace we can put into a corner. I have literally been talking about this for years. I've been tweeting about it for years. I've been talking about it on my channel for years. I have been wanting corner fireplaces for forever because we had them in The Sims 3, if I remember correctly, and I have been wanting them for forever because in my house at home, we have a corner fireplace, and I've seen them so many times, and I feel like they would just fill out corners so well. And although this fireplace isn't specifically for a corner, you can place it in a corner because it's round and you can angle it, and that's what I did in this build, and I love it. I am weirdly passionate about this fireplace, but also I have seen specifically this round type of fireplace in so many Swedish apartments, especially in Stockholm, because they are kind of old, like an older style, and I've seen them so many times, and I was just so happy to use in this build because it feels so realistic to me. And because it's so small, you can't really have it, but you know, we have the TV, so I kind of put it in like this weird corner bit of the room, but I love it, and I put some like armchairs in front of it because that's how I usually see them being together. Like I usually see just 2 armchairs in front of it, and yeah, I love it so much. So I know it's a weird thing to be like really passionate about, but I love it. And then another thing that I use in the living room / entrance area, which is kind of tucked behind a side table, which that side table is also from this new pack, but it's kind of tucked behind the side table and the sofas a little bit. But we have a new biscuit? No! Wow, Mal. Wow. I can clearly speak today. No, we have a new basket, and it's called the Midsummer Picnic Basket, if I remember correctly. And I am so happy about this because midsummer is a huge tradition in Sweden. That is basically the holiday that I know most people celebrate in Sweden. Like, I've met people here who they don't really celebrate Easter, Christmas, you know, whatever, but everyone celebrates midsummer. And it's not like the movie Midsummer, by the way. I know it sounds cultish when I will tell you what we do, but it's not actually a cult, and we don't do whatever they did in that movie. I've never seen the movie, but anytime I bring up Midsummer with my friends that aren't from Sweden, they're all just like, oh my god, do you do this? And I was like, no. Basically, on Midsummer, we have a pole. It's very weird. You can search up midsummer pole and you will see what I mean. It's a weird pole. But it's usually filled with like grass and flowers and stuff like that. And then you wear flower crowns, and you, if you're above the age of 18, you typically drink, and you eat very good food, mostly fish and seafood and stuff. I know it's weird, but we do. But we eat and we drink and we wear flower crowns, and then we dance around this pole, which I haven't done since I was a child, but I know people that still do it. But especially the flower crowns is a big part, and then you just celebrate. And depending where you're from, I know in some places you light fires on the beach, you send out fires like on a boat, which is kind of like Viking funeral-ish, but I know there's some places that do that as well. And I don't know if this is a thing they do in other Scandinavian countries. I don't think so. I don't actually know, but I know it's a huge thing in Sweden. And yeah, it's just a huge thing, and I'm so happy we have kind of this little nod to it, because again, you also have like picnics and stuff like that, and you just celebrate, and it's amazing, and you eat strawberries. That's also a big thing. And yeah, I love midsummer, although I don't really celebrate it anymore. Like, again, I haven't danced around the pole, I haven't worn a flower crown in forever, but I still love midsummer. And it's also a thing as like when you're a child, obviously it's more of like, again, you dance around the pole, you have fun, like, you know, you play different games, you have picnics, you play this game called Cub a lot, which is where you, like, I don't even know how to explain that game. You have wood poles and you throw them at each other. I'm just gonna say that. I don't even know how to explain it otherwise. But as you kind of get older, as like you're a young adult, you tend to celebrate it with your friends and stuff like that, and then you get drunk. I haven't done it because I just haven't had the opportunity to yet, but I think I might do that this year. I'm not 100% sure, but basically you could just get drunk and do stupid things and have fun. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I love midsummer. It's just a part of the Swedish culture as well. It's kind of like fika, as I was talking about before, and I just love the fact that the Sims team made a little nod to it. So yeah, it's a really weird thing, but I love it. But anyways, moving on from that and moving on to the kitchen of this build. I love this kitchen. I posted a picture of it on Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it. I posted a picture of it over there, and I love the kitchen. It looks so cute. I used the new counters and cabinets that we got from the base game update a few weeks ago, and they look so good. And one thing that I use in there that I love is we have a new cookbook, and it looks so good. We've had a cookbook item from, I believe, the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack is what it's called. Sorry, I can't speak. It's pollen season already, so like it's allergy season, and my nose is very congested, so I'm very sorry if I sound weird. But we've had a kind of cookbook from that, I believe it's from that pack anyways, for a while, but now we have a new cookbook, and I love this cookbook. I'm going to be using it every single build because it looks so good, and yeah, I just love it. It has a bunch of different swatches with a bunch of different like recipes open and stuff like that, and I put it on top of the microwave. I just love it, and the kitchen is kind of small, but I really like it. And then I do what's called the office space, which I end up loving because I made kind of like a built-in bookcase with a sofa in it, and I put a book on the armchair, on like the armrest of it, and it looks so cute, and I love it. And off camera, I put some pillows on that couch because that couch, I believe, is from the Refined Living Room kit, and it is very, like, it's supposed to be modern and sleek, so it doesn't have any, like, pillows or cushions or whatever you call them on it, but I did put some off camera because I was like, they need some. And then I do the bathroom on the second floor. Each floor has a bathroom, but only the second floor and the third floor bathrooms have, like, a shower. It's a shower tub combo, and they basically look the same, but it's fine. And then after that, I do the kids' room, which I was so excited to do the kids' room because we have a few different things you can use in the kids' rooms now. We have this new, like, raccoon plushie, which I don't know what the Sims team has been doing, but I'm loving it because we have so many new, like, raccoon items, which I think it has to do with the burglar update that we got a while ago. But I love the fact that we have raccoons because we also have a few different raccoon paintings, and if you're looking for some of the new paintings and you can't find them in the paintings category, they are under the live and edit menu, like, for some reason. And if you have the Better Build and Buy mod in your game, they won't still be sorted under the paintings category. They're sorted under the decorations category. I don't know why, but they are. But yeah, they're hidden behind the live and edit menu, I believe at least, because it took me a while to find them, and I was like, where are they? And then I put in the cheat, and they were like, there it is. But yeah, we have a few different, like, paintings with raccoons and a few different, like, renditions of different paintings that we have in the game already, but, like, they have some more, like, childlike paintings on them. I didn't put a bunch of them in the kids' bedroom because the kids' bedroom ends up being surrounded by windows mostly, so there's not a lot of wall space. But I do put one of the new raccoon paintings that we have, and also in the pottery studio in the basement, I put another raccoon painting that we have, which is a different version of the painting that we have from base game, where, like, it looks like there's a bunch of different portraits on it, and we have one of a raccoon, right? And another reason why I'm so excited to have raccoons, like, so many raccoon things in this game, is that, don't ask me why, I don't even know anymore, but my boyfriend is called a raccoon. I have no clue where this stemmed from. It's been a thing for as long as I can remember, like, from before we even got together, and it's just, he's always been a raccoon, right? Like, he's a raccoon and I'm a red panda. It's a whole thing. Mostly the fact that he's a raccoon. And so when we got raccoon items, I showed him. I took screenshots and I was like, look at all the raccoon items. Like, we have so many things and they just remind me of him, which obviously I love him, so love having things in the game that remind me of him. But that little raccoon painting that I put in the pottery studio, I swear to God, that is my boyfriend, because I sent him a screenshot of it and he was like, oh my God, that is me, because that little raccoon is like wearing a suit and it has a little smirk, and my boyfriend smirks like crazy. Like, that is how his default face is. It's just a smirk. Don't ask me why. I don't know. And anytime he's like smiling in photos like that, he just does a little smirk. And also, my friend group is called the Suits, and so it's like a thing that he wears a black suit. He doesn't actually, I've seen him in a suit before, but like, he doesn't actually wear suits a lot, but it's a thing. Like, he has a black suit, and another one of my friends has a white suit, and so that little raccoon has a suit and that smirk, and that is my boyfriend now. So Jay, I know you're watching this, I love you, and you're in the game. And he was like, I've been making them into Sims, guys. He doesn't play Sims, but he was happy about it because he knows how much I love Sims. So he was like, I'm in your favorite game, and I was like, that you are. So yeah, my boyfriend is in the game, and now anytime any of you use that item, you're just gonna be thinking of my boyfriend. You're probably not, but I like the idea of that because that's funny. But yeah, my boyfriend is officially in the game, basically. Also, sorry if you heard that. That was someone in the hallway opening their door, because if you didn't know, I live in dorms, and that happens sometimes. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to tell you that my boyfriend is officially in the game. And I love the fact that we have raccoon things. Just love it. The rest of the kids' room doesn't have a bunch of things from the new pack. It has a new dresser. We have 2 new dressers. I use one of them in the kids' room, and yeah, I really like the kids' room. It's very simple, but it's very like earthy, which I also feel like is very Scandinavian. I don't know why, but anytime I see like a kids' room in builds here, like in homes here, I feel like they often have this vibe. So I'm really happy with it. And then after that, I move up downstairs. I move up on to the upstairs. There we go. I don't know why I said it like that. I just made it harder for myself. But anyways, and I do the parents' bedroom. And in the parents' bedroom, I use the new fireplace once again. Which, by the way, you might question why I'm putting this white cylinder thing at the top of this fireplace. And the reason I'm doing it is because the fireplace is kind of made for the short wall height, and and so it's supposed to kind of end at, like, the top of the fireplace is supposed to end where the roof would be, if that makes sense. But I didn't do the short wall height for this build. As I said before, it's on the medium wall height, so it leaves this kind of gap, and I didn't like it, so I sized up this debug chapstick lid. Don't ask me why we have it, we just do. I sized it up, and it kind of works well to kind of make it look like the fireplace goes up onto the into the ceiling, because again, I just felt like it looked weird that it was just ending not to the ceiling. So that's why I did that, by the way. If anyone was wondering, you probably weren't, but anyways, in the parents' bedroom again, I used that fireplace, and I also use the new bed that we have, which this is my new favorite bed in the entire game. I am going to be using this bed in every single build from now on because it looks so good. It looks like CC, and I love it. It looks so good. And I use these new side tables that we have as well. They're very tall and like small, but I really like them, and I think they fit very well. And I use one of the new side table lamps that we have, and I love this little lamp. I'm going to be using it in so many different builds. It kind of looks like it has this like ceramic bottom, and the ceramic, like the swatches of that of that lamp matches the laces that you can do like for all the ceramic things. So I really like it. I think it looks really good, and yeah, I hope you guys like that lamp as well. And entirely, I hope you guys like this build. And then because I had like a small little room on the upstairs, I didn't know what to do with it, so I made it into a walk-in closet. So the parents' bedroom itself doesn't actually have a closet, but they have a walk-in closet, so like it's fine. And again, I used the new wallpaper in there, and yeah, I don't know if there was anything else, but yeah, overall I just absolutely love this new pack. And again, oh, actually, I forgot something. In the walk-in closet, I use some new like shoe shelves that we have, which I love, and I also use this new item where you can like hang clothes on, and we have some new hanging clothes which looks like CC, and I freaking love them. And I'm gonna be using those hanging clothes in so many different builds from now on. Because they look like coats, so I'm gonna be using them like by the front doors probably. But yeah, I think that was the last thing I wanted to mention from this pack, I think. This voiceover has been a little bit different than my normal ones. If you've been here before, you know, because normally I don't talk about like the items I've used in each build this much, but since this is a new pack, I wanted to talk about as many things as possible. And yeah, overall, I love this new pack, and if you are thinking of getting it, I would recommend doing it because it is a game changer, and I love it so much. And again, thank you so much to the Create Network for sending me a code. I adore it. I love this pack so much, and you're gonna get at least, I think, 2 more builds with this pack for me. I think so. Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. If you guys already have the pack, let me know what you think of it in the comments, because again, I love it. And I hope you guys love it as well. Oh my god, we also have new plants. I forgot to mention, we have new plants. We have a new hanging plant, guys. This is not a drill. We have a new hanging plant, and I use it throughout this build, and I love it. We have a new hanging plant, which we all know everyone's obsession with hanging plants in this game, and we have more, so I love them. But yeah, there's probably a bunch of more stuff that I forgot to mention about this pack, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. But anyways, how are you guys? I hope you're well. I'm well. Again, it's allergy season, so I'm a little congested, but it's fine. But yeah, that's basically it. Not a lot of else have been going on this week, or this past 2 weeks since I uploaded last. I've just been busy with school and, you know, life and stuff. And I've been very consumed with this pack. The reason you didn't get this video out like last week was because last week I was house sitting for my parents, and like pet sitting as well, because we have dogs and cats and stuff like that, and both my parents were out of town, and so they needed me to do that, so I wasn't at my PC all week, and it was not fun because it was the week that this pack released. But yeah, so you're getting this video out this week, and I hope that's okay to get it out now instead. But yeah, I hope you guys are well. Again, other than being congested, I'm fine. I've been very tired this week, and I think, again, it has to do with allergy season, because I get so tired during allergy season. I have pretty bad pollen allergy, so that's fun. I love that for me. But yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this video, and I really hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!